And hello, my fellow nerds out there. It's Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back to our Wonderland. Last episode, the last episode we kinda killed off one of the characters and had to get away. And now we ran into this weird castle, I guess. So hopefully, hopefully we can find Bugs at some point soon, because I don't want to have to kill anyone else. I mean, unless it's Orlam, because Orlam is kind of creepy, but I don't know. Orlam could be good for all I know. Anyways, continuing on. I swear, every episode starts off with me doing Genzo's voice, albeit horribly. Maybe there's a place to shack up in town. Genzo's rolling the legs of his pants back down around his ankles. I simply nod. A soft place to lay our heads would be a welcome respite at this point. So I lead us up the hill in the direction of the building we saw earlier. It's not far. Already I can see what looks like a fishing shack just up the bend, and past that, a cobblestone road leading to the town proper. I pop my head in the open door of one of the shacks. No one there. No one traveling the road either. It's almost eerily quiet. Ding dong, anyone home? Genzo knocks on another one of the doors. He shrugs at the lack of reply. We follow the road towards what seems to be the center of town, more and more buildings lining up our either side. Ooh, God, usually I'm not this tired. But even here, the paths remain empty, and the windows of the buildings are dark. The only sound is the fountain in the middle of the square, tinkling, tinkling, tinkling. I know I've got a bit of a reputation, but I didn't think it was that bad. This feels weird. I think that's pronounced fucked up. I look to the left. Two buildings that look like stores sit silent and motionless. Hastily scrawled clothes signs hang askew from their doors. I look to the right. The dark windows of the small cafe stare back hauntingly. Its outdoor seating area devoid of life. I'm gonna try something. Genzo covers his hands around his mouth and takes a deep breath. Genzo, no! I hiss and grab his arms. What? He shoots me a look of confusion. But suddenly, for some reason, making noise seems like a really bad thing. The whole back of my neck is tingling. I tilt my head, straining my ears. Footsteps. Oh no. That sounds too familiar. Marching footsteps. Far away now, but getting closer. We need to hide. I promptly yank Genzo off towards the gap between the two nearby buildings. We hunker down in the shadow and with our backs to the walls, waiting and listening. Footsteps are close now, and that rhythm, sharp and methodical and perfectly in time. I already know who is that's going to appear from around the building. A battalion of rabbits marches in the square, two by two, ears jouncing, and don't tell me ears bouncing. Is jouncing even a word? Eyes twitching and boots smacking the ground in harmonized cadence. Jesus, I hear Genzo whisper beneath his breath. I press my back even tighter against the wall. The rabbits come in synchronized stop in front of the fountain. It's not the same battalion as before, that much I can tell. Their leader, at least, doesn't seem quite as jumpy. The rabbit in question procures a folded sheet of parchment from within his armor, unfolds it and coughs, then squawks. Chanticleer Ellens, you are hereby under arrest by order of the king. You are to surrender yourself peacefully. Failure to do so will be understood as treason to the crown, and we will be forced to use whatever means necessary to detain you. Another call. He lowers the paper, looks around. The square is still empty. He scowls and rolls his eyes. Search the houses, he belts and returns the paper to slit in his armor. The other rabbits set to motion immediately, each of them darting off towards a different house. They don't even bother knocking. They slam the doors open with their shoulders and disappear inside. The frenzy stomping is too mixed with frightened yells and screams. There are people inside. I gulp, clench my eyes shut. But that just makes it even more terrifying, so I open them back up, the gaze drifting shakily between each of the open doors. A hyper scream bites through the air. Found her, sir! One of the rabbits emerges from a house on the other side of the square. His hand is clenched in the long blonde hair of a woman in a brown dress, and she's dragging out her sharp yanks that punctuate her screams. Oh my god, screams are annoying, not gonna lie. Excellent work, Sentry. The lead rabbit marches over to the steps. He slides the paper back out, unfolds his cuff. Chanticleer Ellens, you are hereby under arrest by order of the king. You are to search. She screams even louder, on and on and on and on. Even from as far away as we are, the sound of it jabs my eardrums like a knife. The lead rabbit stops and says, "Just take her in." He jabs a thumb in the direction of the castle. I mean, you're pulling on her hair. She kind of has a right to scream. The sentry salutes and then drags her kicking and squirming body across the cobblestone. Doors slam around the rest of the sentries, abandon their searches, and return to formation. They're heading back. I feel my chest begin to loosen. Over here, sir. It takes me a second to realize the shadows come from right behind us. I just turn and run the sentries buns Genzo with the butt with the spear. Genzo yelps and rams into me. We both go sprawling out into the streets. Two suspicious individuals hiding over here. I attempt to push myself up to my knees, only for the sentry's boot to come down hard on my back. Well, what do we have here? The lead rabbit muses. I hear him march towards us, crisp and methodical. Up, he gestures. Before I can wonder what he means, the sentry has grabbed both of us by the back of our collars and heaved us off the ground. Uh-oh. This isn't good. The fabric of my shirt digs into my throat, and my arms are flung up by either side like a chicken about to take flight. I try to kick to fight, I really do, but my feet don't even touch the ground. All I manage to do is further cut off the circulation in my already tender neck as I swing. The lead rabbit grabs me by the chin and wrenches my head upwards. His fingers bite into my jaw and cheek. Interesting. He twists my head to the right, to the left. Then lets my head drop as unexpectedly as he grabbed it. He moves on Genzo. Genzo just grins. If you wanted to play rough, all you had to do was ask. I always did have a thing for bondage play. Dude, what the hell? This rewards Genzo with a backhanded slap across to the face. And he yelps. What did you expect? Shut up. But something must catch the rabbit's eye because his ears go straight as lightning rods. He grabs Genzo again and jerks his head the other way. This one. His is the one His Majesty is looking for. The rabbit smiles, laughs, grins reaching towards his ears. Sir? The sentry holds his ass. Then he squawks that makes my ears ring. Bring them in! Both of them! Oh no. The lead rabbit lets Genzo's head fall and claps his hands together, clearly tickled pink. We'll be eating well tonight, gentlemen. Sir! The sentry tries to salute, but then realizes he can't as his arms are full, of us. And simply straightens instead, clicking his heels together. Back in formation, the lead rabbit screeches again, and the sentries are quick to go back in line. Our sentry follows. Just when I'm wondering if we were going to be carried like this the whole way, the world turns upside down and I'm tossed in like a sack of potatoes over the sentry's shoulder. My forehead smacks the backside of his armor, an audible clang. Ow! Once my head stops spinning, I glance over to see Genzo draped over the shoulder of another sentry. That's all I can do to throw him a look of helplessness as marching begins anew beneath us, taking us towards the castle where whatever or whoever awaits us there. Oh no. The shiny marble floor of the grand hall welcomes me to the castle with a crack to my jaw. Ow! I simply lie there for a moment as the tendrils of pain shoot up through my shoulder and face, and then slowly push myself up to my hands. I swear I can still hear the reverberating slap of my body hitting the floor echoing off the walls. In front of us is the grand staircase, and when my gaze follows it upwards, I'm met with the highest ceiling I've ever seen. Up, up, up it goes, and decorated with multiple crystalline chandeliers at its peak. Stained glass windows of brilliant kaleidoscopic design lines the walls on the way back down, followed by lower levels of dark-colored tapestries, at least 3 times my height. I suddenly feel very small. Attention! A screech from behind me, and the sentries circling us pull a crisp salute. Genzo groans and rolls over, and pushes himself up to a seat. After having experienced it, I can now say that getting thrown over your shoulder like a continental soldier is not a romantic fantasy I'd always envisage. It's quiet for a moment. Then, oh, what's that sound? Who is that? From the far hallway, a small figure emerges, clapping its hands together slowly. Glad to see that mouth of yours hasn't changed despite your newly regained visual acuity. Oh god, it's Orlam. Oh no, I think I regret whatever I said about this guy. Fucking Orlam. Sporting the gaudy as fuck crown. A red velvet cape with white and black fur, and escorted on either side by a pair of over-embellished rabbit attendants. My jaw drops nearly to the floor. I actually thought Bucks was gonna be the friggin' Majesty thing, but nope, it had to be Orlam. Genzo has to bring his hand to his mouth to stifle his laughter. He nearly chokes. What the fuck, Orlam? You look like the love child of Prince John and Madame Medusa. Orlam's face goes red. He clenches his fist. You? His jaw tightens. Softens. He forces a smile. Must be so tired having walked all this way. I push myself to my feet with a little wobble. It's not so bad. It is a little bit much. I actually get to pick something. Jesus, this took this. I'm not even sure which one to say, so like last time, save. I'd probably say it's not so bad. I mean, all the stuff that we've been through, walking around isn't that bad. It's not so bad, I muse as I try to find my balance. Pretty regal, actually. Oh wait, I was complimenting him. Okay then. Orlam's eye twitches. Thank you, Iggy. His smile trembles for just a second. And I should have known you of all people would be able to appreciate my work. I take a step forward for stability, only for the nearest sentry to thrust his spear right in my stomach. I jerk backwards with a stumble that almost sends me back to the floor. Now, there's no need for any of that. Orlam spreads his arms. These are my guests. I want you to treat them with nothing but the utmost respect. He glides towards us, little cape fluttering, and the sentries pause, but ultimately retracts his spear. Orlam tut-tuts beneath his breath. He brings his hand up to fix my collar, brow rising momentarily at the sight of my throat. Dear, he shakes his head, and then again. Dear, you really are a mess, aren't you? What have you been through, you poor things? I run a hand through my curls awkwardly. A lot, is all I can say. His hands go to my cheeks and as he clicks his tongue. Come, I demand you get cleaned up. Then we feast. Surely that will have you in better spirits, no? He gives my cheeks a little clap with his fingers, then throws his arm around my shoulder. I mean, sure. Genzo huffs his feet next to me and straightens his hat. Who died and made you king, huh? I feel Orlam's fingers dig into the skin of my arm. But he just smiles, and the off-kilter smile of his laughs, every syllable perfectly enunciated, with the identical gap in between. Wouldn't you like to know? Oh god, I hope it wasn't Bucks. Okay. Orlam sends us off to the baths, each with our own rabbit attendant. Our own incredibly dawdling rabbit attendants. It's weird enough when my attendant helps me undress, but it gets exceptionally weirder the moment he guides me into the tub and begins scrubbing me down. You know I can wash myself, I say as I blow a cluster of bubbles off my nose. The rabbit has my wrists in the air and is currently scrubbing the underside of my arm. His Majesty wants to ensure you're spotless, is the only response I get. Once the cleansing is finished, I feel as though I've lost about 3 layers of skin. I'm toweled off and dressed in a thick white robe. When it's to the large vanity, when my curls are blown dry, and where I'm given a choice view of the state of my face for the first time. I grimace in the mirror, purple and brown bruises from the circle around my throat. I'm coming to a head just beneath my ears, and my cheeks are lined with rough red scratches. Even my eyes look bad, dark and red and sporting twin black circles that stretch towards my nose. My attendant finishes brushing out my now fuzzy hair, and I place my glasses back on my nose. Thankful there's thick frames hide some of the damage around my eyes. There's a knock on the door, and another rabbit enters the room, holding a neatly folded set of clothes. It takes me a second to realize they're my own. Wait, when did you? They've been cleaned and dried and perfectly pressed. I have no idea how, but I couldn't have been in the bath longer than 20 minutes. My attendant, of course, has no inclination of letting me dress myself. Ugh. I raise my arms as he tucks the shirt over my head, smoothing it carefully across my front and back, then tucks me into my pants and cinches the waist tight with a clasp. Ow! My fear of doing something wrong and everything going to hell supersedes my severe discomfort with the whole situation. Once I'm finally finished, my attendant leads me back out into the hall. Genzo had his attendant emerge from the door on the opposite side at almost exactly the same time. He looks disturbed. Was that the weirdest fucking thing you've ever experienced, or did they do something different to you? He hisses as our attendants guide us back downstairs. You mean with the bathing and everything? Yes! He shoots his attendant a wary look. My guy definitely spent too long on my dick. I feel my face flush. I didn't really pay attention. Truth be told, I spent most of my time in the bath with my eyes closed and thinking of England. At the bottom of the steps, we turn right, and the rabbits take us down the grand corridor lined on either side with the Titanic-sized flag. Each one we pass is a darker shade of red, leading to a giant set of double doors at the end of the hall. 2 more rabbit attendants step to the side, and as the doors open on their own like magic, revealing an enormous golden ballroom. And at its center, a long table piled high with some of the most opulent food I have ever seen in my life. Plump roasts, golden rolls, buttery pies, cakes with more tears than I can count. And colors, so many colors, bright and vivid, and all of it steaming hot, sitting atop brilliant bronze tableware that gleams in the light of the chandeliers. There's even a real working fountain pumping out what looks like to be pints of liquid chocolate. Okay, you know what? This actually doesn't seem too bad. I'm hoping it's not too bad. Because trust me, I will not be able to handle killing off another person. My eyes practically bug out of my head. Next to me, Genzo makes a sign of the cross in front of his chest. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. FB is for the eyes, no? We spare no expense, a laugh. Not that we would need to. Genzo twitches. Do you have to do that creepy coming out of the shadows thing like some kind of fucking rodent? Orlam just smiles, his already heavily lidded eyes squinting further in amusement. I get to eat like this every night, and I'm sure it's quite the treat for both of you. Yeah, we're really impressed with your ability to wish your way into power. Genzo rolls his eyes. Orlam ignores him. He ambles over and throws his arm around both of our shoulders. Gentlemen, it's been so long. Can't we just enjoy this evening of opulence together? The night is still young after all. Let's live like kings, or as close to it as you two will ever get. Genzo winces, but allows himself to be guided towards the table all the same. It's a rather tempting sight. Whoa! We're seated on either side of the table, more sets of rabbit attendants scurrying to ready our chairs. Orlam himself sits at the head of the table in an extravagant throne that looks like it could fit 5 of him inside of it. Or perhaps sits isn't the right word, more like lounges. He leans back again amongst the piles of cushions and blankets, lining the seat, chin balanced on his palm. He then raises his arms to the air and snaps his fingers. One of the rabbit's attendants waiting on the side of the far door darts over and places a golden wine glass in his outstretched hand and immediately fills it. Orlam swirls it, takes a sip, glances at us, both simply watching him in awkward disbelief. He waves his hand in exasperation. Eat! I snap my head towards the food. I am hungry, famished even. I haven't had anything to eat since arriving here. I reach forward and begin grabbing some of the best-looking items off the table, filling up my plate. Genzo snorts as he forks a giant slice of roast and rips half of it off with his teeth. You sure got everyone whipped around here. I mean, what do you expect? I am the king. I can do whatever I want and no one's gonna stop me. He takes another gulp of his wine. It feels good to be respected for once. I spoon a dollop of buttery potatoes into my mouth. My mind goes immediately to the town outside, and that woman we saw dragged screaming from her home. A little iron-fisted, isn't it? A shrug. I needed discipline. You should have seen the place when I arrived. Nothing but chaos, anarchy. No one to keep the masses in line. This is followed by a smirk. I'm making great progress. Oh, I get it. No one likes you, so you have to force them to like you. Should have expected no less from you, Big O. Orlam twitches, but otherwise doesn't react. He leans forward with an over-present smile. Wine, gentlemen? His arms go up before we have a chance to respond, and another snap sends 2 rabbit attendants to the table with ready glasses to serve us. Oh, sure. Don't mind if I do. Genzo promptly downs the half of his glass in one gulp. I sip slowly on my own, washing down the chunk of what seems to be bacon-wrapped asparagus. Weird. My gaze goes back to Orlam. He's watching Genzo. Staring at Genzo. Oh god, am I gonna have to save Genzo this time? Leaning forward, chin in his hand, grinning from ear to ear. His eyes follow Genzo's every move, from movement of the wine glass from the mouth to the table, to the forkfuls of the cottage pie. I actually never had cottage pie. Is it good? Someone tell me how good it is. He shovels it into his mouth. Something inside me, deep down beneath my bowels, sparks and twists in strange discomfort. Orlam picks up a fork and uses it to cut off a small piece of bright red meatloaf. He jabs it onto the tines, then floats into Genzo's direction. Try some of the loaf. Genzo wipes the pie crumbs off his mouth, gobbles up the piece on Orlam's fork without question, then sets to his bowl of stew. He slurps a spoonful and raises a finger, still chewing. None of this negates the fact that I think you're a conniving douchebag, you know. Just that I'm really hungry. Oh, I wouldn't have it any other way. Orlam places the fork back down, hands to his cheeks like a pining lover. Another lightning-like jab to my gut. As hungry as I am, I'm having a hard time fighting this constricting twist in my stomach. These potatoes are divine. Is that supposed to be a pun? Get a room already. Can't I get some too? Like, if you give me a choice to say a pun, I'm going to say a pun. If that's supposed to be a pun, I don't know. I'm pretty sure potatoes don't grow on vines. They grow in the ground. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Save. Anything I say could get me killed. Get a room already. Let's go with these potatoes are divine. I let out a loud cough thumping in my chest. Damn, these potatoes are divine. I mean, wow, just really hitting the spot. You know what I mean? You had any again? I'm obnoxiously loud, but I don't even care. Anything to break the weird tension. And these cutlets, yowza, melting your mouth good right here. Orlam sits back and away from Genzo. I catch a flash of annoyance in his eyes, but it quickly morphs into amusement. Enjoying yourself, are you? He slowly twirls his glass. It is pretty damn good, isn't it, Iggs? Genzo laughs, mouthful of food. I haven't eaten like this in... He blinks, seemingly forget what to say, and instead rolls his fingers over a plate of cream-filled eclairs. Glad you gentlemen are pleased. I wouldn't want my guests to be disappointed. I swallow a chunk of cutlet in my mouth, feeling some anxiety disappear down into my stomach with it. Where do you get your food anyways? Must be a good source. Orlam rests his cheek in his knuckles, grinning as though delighted by a joke in his head. Oh, it's very good. Close by too. Only the freshest cuts make it to my table. I gotta say, if there was one thing that could keep me here, it would definitely be the food. The cream from the eclair has somehow made its way into Genzo's nose. His words, though, remind me of our current situation. So, Orlam, I start wiping off my mouth with a napkin. What's your plan then? You just gonna stay down here? Orlam rolls over his throne to face me, returning to his wine. Oh, I don't know. Just playing it by the ear, I guess. It's not like anyone's gonna miss me up there. There's just, so much good I can do here. Why rush things? Why indeed, I mutter to myself, disguising my words with my wine glass. I cough, but have you looked at all into how the door opened in the first place? You obviously have quite a bit of reach down here. You could be looking into what's going on, searching for bugs. Orlam blows a raspberry. Sounds like a lot of work. He raises the wine glass above his head, slowly spinning it back and forth. Besides, if Bucks is down here, she must not want to be found. I certainly haven't seen any traces of her, and neither have any of my men. Genzo guffaws. If I was stuck down here with you, I'd steer clear too. More wine, Genzo? Yes, lazily. Does a chicken have lips? Another snap of his fingers. Then a rabbit attendant returns to the table with a newly opened bottle of wine, filling up Genzo's glass. Despite the blasé response, his words do give me pause. Orlam's rabbit guards seem to be everywhere. If even they've never run into Bucks, maybe she really isn't here. But that just doesn't make any sense. Something wrong, Iggy? Orlam leaning over towards leaning towards me this time. Not enjoying your food? I give a little start. No, it's not. I run a hand through my curls. Tiny tendrils of sweater beginning to form on my forehead. Just not feeling super hot, I guess. Maybe I need to lie down for a bit. Of course. You've surely been through quite the ordeal. He snaps his fingers again. Guards take Ignatius. Ignatius? That's honestly, that name is so dang close to Ignitus, which by the way is a character from Spyro. I remember that. I played it since I was a kid. Take Ignatius to the room we prepared. He needs his rest. Two guards emerge from the main doorway. They march over and pull my chair away from the table. I stand up somewhat hesitantly and throw Genzo a look across the table, still chomping away happily. Catch up with you later, Eggs. Yeah, okay. Sleep well now. Orlam waves, and the guards lead me out of the ballroom and back to the hallway. My head is really starting to feel fuzzy now. Sweat dribbles down the back of my neck, and a cold chill sends goosebumps up and down my arms. The guards take me up multiple flights of stairs, and my legs feel more jellified with each landing we reach. Finally, we turn down a hallway lined with ornately carved doors. They open the second door on the left. It beckons me inside. It is delightfully dim inside. Nothing but a fluttering candelabra. Oh God, I'm tired. On the bedside table to light the room. And quiet too. Somehow it cools the intense beating starting up from the back of my head. I head straight for the bed. It's enormous and piled high with soft white pillows. And when I shirk off my pants and slip under the sheets, it feels heavenly on my skin. Tired. So tired. My eyes close on their own. Hot, dizzy, tired. There's a thrum on the base of my skull. I think of Genzo chomping away at the table. Of Orlam and that eerily cloying smile. Had Orlam always been like that? I can't seem to remember. Mousy, for sure, but never so downright creepy. I can see him. I can see all of them. They're sitting at the table in the cafeteria, scarfing down their trays of hamburgers, peas, and carrots. Oh? Oh, he's the young variants! Orlam's next to Genzo, slurping quietly at his milk carton. He smiles when Genzo talks. Laughs harder than anyone when Genzo makes a joke. I'm still waiting in line for my food. I grab it and head towards the table with my friends. Hey, Iggs is here! Genzo glances up at my arrival. Make room! He elbows Orlam hard, and Orlam goes tumbling off the bench, milk splashing up onto his shirt and face. Jesus, what a dick. Sit your ass down here, Iggs. Oh, look at that look on his face. I share it. I really need to clean my computer screen off at some point. I stand there a moment, looking at the vacated seat, looking at Orlam on the floor. Orlam returns the gaze helplessly. Finally, I sit down and push Orlam's tray out of the way. I don't say anything. Genzo wraps his arms around my shoulder with a laugh and launches straight back into the story he'd been telling. On the floor, Orlam pushes himself up on his bony little knees to reach his tray, face dark. He spends the rest of his lunch in silence. Dude, Genzo was a dick. My stomach gurgles. Maybe we were too hard on him all these years. I'm not even sure why he kept hanging out with us, to be honest. No other friends, I suppose. None of us had any other friends. I let out a sigh. My face feels so hot, I hope I haven't come down with something. I wonder for a moment if Genzo is still eating, then drift off into a restless sleep. What do you want, Iggy? What do you wish for more than anything else in the whole world? I'm not sure what it is that wakes me up. My sleep hadn't been all that deep. I can vaguely remember tossing and turning a few times, but even then my head is still remained foggy and my breath slow. Now, however, my mind feels as sharp as a tack, and I can feel my heart beating at a quickened pace around against my ribs. I open my eyes. Oh god, if something terrifying is gonna happen, I swear to god. The room is dark. The candles must have gone out at some point. But it's quiet, motionless. Nothing and no one there that could have woken me up. I stare up at the ceiling. My forehead and cheeks are sweaty. My legs feel restless. The strange feeling in my gut from dinner is back. Not quite as pronounced, but still there. What was that? Lying low and every so often sending twinges of anxious nausea up my stomach. I roll over, pause for a moment, then slide my feet off to the side of the bed and sit up. I reach for my glasses with my heart and will my heart to calm. This isn't working. I'm probably just anxious. Who wouldn't be after everything that's happened? Maybe a short walk will help. Get some air, cool off a bit. I trudge over towards the chair where I left my pants and crumbled in a crumpled pile and slouched down to put them on. I grimace and turn up my nose. My mouth tastes awful. Maybe I can find the kitchen and get some water while I'm at it. I yawn and head to the door. The lay of the hallway blinds me for a moment as I step outside. It's equally as quiet out here as it was in the room, and once I'm able to look around, I find myself alone. No guards, no attendants. Just one long, empty hallway with door after door after door. I wonder where Genzo is. Did they put him in his room next to mine? Another yawn. I start forward down the hallway. I'm pretty sure I can remember the way back downstairs, but by then I'm sure there will be someone I can ask for directions or even get water for me. The attendants certainly seem willing to help. The hall opens up, widening it as it curls around to connect the stairs. I trace my hand along the railing as I start down, taking it slow and easy and keeping an eye out for one of the rabbits. One flight, two, I make it to the bottom with no sign of life. Up ahead and through the archway, I see a wide expanse of the grand hall. I entertain the thought of calling out for someone, but ultimately decide against it. Somehow, I don't want to hear what my voice would sound like in the midst of all this emptiness. I start for the hall, only to freeze. Uh-oh. Footsteps. More than one. In fact, a whole lot of footsteps. And they're in the opposite direction from away in the hall and down the windowless corridor to my left. I blink in silence, chew my bottom lip, then walk quietly, ever so quietly down the corridor. There's a fork up ahead, and when I peek around the corner, I see the tail end of the battalion of rabbits at the end of the long hall. They're moving away from me in a few moments more. And in a few moments more, they just disappear entirely down another corridor to the left. Interesting. I've forgotten about the water entirely by this point. The sparkle of unease in my gut has gotten stronger. Now it's pulling me down the hall after them. With a final glance behind me, I follow, silently, stealthily, but quick enough that I don't potentially lose them around whatever twists and turns await. I make it to the next corridor, pause, then chance a glance. Nothing. They're gone. I pull back, furrow my brows, then check a second time. Still nothing. I pull away from the wall entirely and creep closer. There aren't any other forks or hallways to turn down, just one straight track leading to a far wall. And yet, they've simply disappeared. I scratch my head. Well, that was weird. I step towards the wall, placing my hands against the stone. Oh, my bad. But it feels solid, at least as far as I can tell. I give it a frustrated slap. Then with a low rumble, it moves. Whoa! I step back with a start. First it moves backwards, then there's no recoiling from my touch. Then with a grinding creak that rattles my jaw, it switches gears and pulls off away to the right, leaving behind a neatly stoned tunnel in its wake. Guess that explains that. I mumble out loud without realizing. The tunnel appears dark at first, but I can see light further down. Despite my misgivings. Oh, God. I can't stop at this point. I'm in way too deep. Whoa. So I push forward into the darkness, one hand on the wall with some kind of guardrail on, into the unknown. The first thing I notice is the smell. It makes my nose twitch, curl upward. I don't even know how to describe it. Like a stew that's been in the pot too long and everything's starting to congeal. The further I walk, the stronger it gets. Plugging my nose doesn't help. It's in my lungs now, coming back up through my mouth like a damp towel on my tongue. I stop for a moment. It's starting to make me dizzy, but I wipe the clammy film of sweat from my forehead and neck and keep going. Lighter, brighter, hotter. Now the smell seems practically solidified and sticking to my skin. It's heavy in the air, pregnant in the droplets of moisture and suspended on the walls of the heat and dripping from the walls. Lighter, brighter, hotter. My head's starting to spin. But I can see the tunnel open up just ahead. One step. The room beyond starts to take shape, large, filled with steam. Oh, what the heck? 2 steps. Low flickering lights dance almost red across the dark stone walls. Then, out of the expanse, out of the balcony overlooking the cave steam, the smell hits me like a punch to the gut. I feel myself start to retch. But even the smell doesn't compare to what I see when I look over the edge into the room below. Oh no. Cauldrons. Cauldrons? I have no idea, but they're huge and round and filled to the brim with thick red boiling sop. Oh no. More and more of them, filling up the whole room, bubbling and churning, roiling and emitting the thick clouds of greasy steam that twist and coil in the air above. I only have to wonder for a split second what's in the cauldrons before I see it. An arm. Oh no! They cook people? A human arm, protruding from the boiling mug and hanging limp over the side, red, swollen, and blistered. I reel back. I can't breathe. I can't think. My body feels numb. The fuck? My gaze jumps from the cauldron to cauldron and I see more. Naked backsides bobbing up and down. An errant hand or a foot sticking out from above the frothy soup. Long dark hair curling in the water. My knees nearly give. I have to lean hard against the railing to keep from crumbling to the floor. This is my slaughterhouse. I spin around, heart beating out of my chest. Orlam standing at the entrance of the tunnel, his hands spread wide in slow pride. Though some might prefer abattoir, a bit fancier, wouldn't you say? I step back against the railing, hands grasping at the cold stone. What are you? I can't seem to form words. My tongue feels about 10 times its normal size. I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious. He takes a step forward, rubbing his chin. I need to feed my people somehow, and I also need to deal with the rabble-rousers. Why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? You can't eat people! Oh god. You certainly didn't seem to have a problem with it earlier tonight. My pupils shrink as their sockets as my blood runs cold. I think back to our meal in the ballroom. Of the steaming roast, the meat pies, the bacon-wrapped sausage, and asparagus. Blech, bile rises in the back of my throat, and before I can stop it, I'm lurching forward and spilling the contents of my stomach out to the floor. Orlam watches in disconcern. Once the convulsion of my stomach stops, I rise back up shakily, vomit dripping down from my lips and down to my chin. You're sick! I cringe and bring a hand up to cover my mouth. Well, you know what they say about glass houses. Orlam saunters over the railing to look down on his house of horrors. The flickering light color his face red in steam. You know, I was going to leave you out of this. This is a matter between me and him, after all. But well, you had to go snooping and finding this place. But I'm afraid that just won't do. Kings need some of their secrets to stay just that. Secret. He turns towards me with a playful smile. I take a step backwards. A thousand alarm bells go off in my head. Where's Genzo? Probably just waking up, I would imagine. I twist towards the railing, his eyes searching the room frantically. And then I see him, far off to the right and lying on the floor surrounded by a circle of guards. Genzo! I screech. Orlam begins walking towards me and I spin around in a panic. Plead with Orlam, try for the stairs. I don't think pleading with him will work. We have to take action. Taking action is probably the best thing you could possibly do. Because I would never plead with a sicko like this. So... Oh, wait, actually, no, doesn't it... Wait, if I game over, it'll just bring me back to this choice, so there's no point to save. Yep, try for the stairs. That's probably the best option. My fight or flight mode kicks in. I need to get away. And right now the stairs leading down into the room seems like the only way to go. I dash towards them, only see a trio of guards already at the bottom making their way up. Fuck. I step backwards slowly. But Orlam's standing right behind me now. You know, it's really a shame because I did always like you, Iggy. His smile is too wide, taking up his whole face. In fact, in another life, we might have been good friends. I wonder how things would have turned out then, Oh shit. Another group of rabbit guards moves behind them. I'm trapped on either side. My lips, my jaw, even my eyes feel like they're quivering, quaking, fluttering in time with my racing heart. But I suppose we'll never know. Something hits me from behind, and I go out like a light. What is that noise? I don't like this. The first thing I feel when I begin to come to is something cinching itself around me, tight, while a sensation of my legs leaving the ground. I open my eyes and find myself suspended in midair, a rope coiled snug around my arms and midsection and holding me aloft like a fish on a hook. I kick my legs, shake my shoulders, try to swing forward, but it's futile. All I do is knock the breath out of my lungs and tire myself out. Ah, good. You've come too. Orlam has his hands in his hips, grinning at me from ear to ear. I don't want you to miss all the fun. Now to wake up, sleeping beauty. Oh God, he's tied up too. I glance to my right and see Genzo in a similar predicament, loops and loops of rope coiled all the way from his chest to his pelvis, holding him aloft a few feet above the ground. Orlam steps forward and claps his palms around his cheeks, reverberating slaps. Rise and shine, you overgrown lush. Genzo coughs and groans. Remind me to thank John for a lovely weekend. Orlam smirks. Yes, you ate very well, didn't you? Then had a nice little nap like the little piggy you are. Unfortunately, it's time for you little piggies to go to the market. Genzo then looks 10 shades of confused. Then he still seems out of it, watching Orlam with his jaws slack and one eyebrow cocked. He blinks, glances down at himself. Well, this is an interesting development. Genzo! I hiss. Genzo turns his head towards me almost lazily. Oh, Iggs, you're here too. What are you doing just hanging around? Genzo, be serious. This isn't a fucking joke. Orlam lets out a pelt of laughter. Genzo, serious? He couldn't be serious if his life depended on it. Except maybe when tormenting me. You always took that pretty seriously, didn't you? He jabs his finger to the underside of Genzo's chin, cocking his head upwards. Oh God, is that what this is about? You butthurt I picked on you when we were kids? Genzo rolls his eyes. Get a life! Orlam's face goes pink, red, purple. Picked on? Picked on? You ruined me, Genzo Ichihara. Ichihara? That's his last name? Huh. He clenches his hair. And you never even realized it, did you? Damn, we're whipping out last names. I'm in big trouble now, huh? Shut up, shut up, shut up! Genzo just grins. Did I hurt you, your little butt? Did you need me to powder and pat it and make you all better? Maybe suck your dick while I was at it? Stop it! But Genzo was on a roll now. His eyes flash. Or, don't tell me, this is about that time and after problem, isn't it? Holy fuck, did you really think that Orlam shrieks. He grabs a spear from the guards behind him and reels it back. I'm gonna muzzle that fucking mouth of yours. He swings it. Then the flat side of the spear clocks Genzo right across the jaw. At least it wasn't the sharp side. Blood flies from his mouth as a resounding crack echoes off the walls. Orlam lets out a head of the spear drop to the ground, red-faced shoulders heaving. Genzo's quiet for a moment. He looks down and spits out a tooth. Pathetic. You can't even break a guy's jaw properly. He snickers, then coughs, sending trails of blood down his chin. You were pathetic then. You're pathetic now. You want to know why I picked on you? Because you're a pathetic excuse for a human being. Everybody hated you. You know that? Even your parents hated you. That's why your dad beat on you. That's why your mom... Jesus Christ, dude! I ain't gonna say that. Because they had a pathetic fucking rat for a son. Orlam wails. He brings his hand to his cheeks, clutching his face, clawing at his eyes. The wail morphs into a scream, deep and heady, ripped straight from his lungs. He reaches for his spear and reels it back, then slams it into Genzo's chin again. Then from the opposite direction. Again. Genzo's head wrenches back and forth like a subsequent crunch. Finally, Orlam crumbles. He lets the spear fall from his hands and sinks to his knees, his face in his palms. Genzo's face is a wreck. Yeah, no shit. His jaw tilts awkwardly to one side, and bloody welts decorate his chin and cheeks. Another cough. This time he sends out a pint of blood on the ground, along with a handful of teeth. I feel tears well up in my eyes, blurring my vision. Genzo, what are you doing? I say weakly. Genzo turns and looks at me. And goddamn if that fucker doesn't actually smile. Smile. He grins through the blood and clots leaking out between his missing teeth, trying to keep him from going after you. My face goes white, lips trembling. It's at this moment that Orlam begins to laugh. It starts as a tiny chuckle, barely even noticeable, and goes to a maniac snicker that rocks his arms and shoulders. High-pitched and squeaking, almost like rabid chipmunk. I don't have to put up with this! What am I doing? I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna eat you for tomorrow's breakfast! He pushes himself to his feet with a wobble, laughing so hard his tears streaking down his cheeks. His eyes, there's something wrong with his eyes. Dark and sunken pupils impossibly small. He brings his hands to his cheeks, unable to contain himself, and twisted grins stretched practically to his ears. Tomorrow's menu is roasted pig on a spit. He dances over towards the iron crack with a panicked upwards twist. I realized that the ropes were hanging on her and connected to a system of overhead pulleys. Uh-oh. He twists the crank and pulls a set of levers on his handle, then wrenches it backwards. Genzo's body rises up. Orlam pulls it to the right, clank, clank, clank. Uh-oh. And now Genzo moves to the left, coming to an abrupt stop right over the center of one of the boiling cauldrons. Shit, fuck. Genzo winces, wriggling uncomfortably and the hot steam envelops him. Orlam, stop! Orlam, we can talk about this! Come on! My heart's racing. I pull and tug and kick my legs in futile panic. This little piggy went to the market, Orlam screeches with a peal of laughter. He lifts in glee and pulls the lever back hard. Oh shit! I feel my heart drop as Genzo goes plunging into the cauldron. Genzo! There's a snickering splash of water spilling up over the edge up to the floor below. Orlam wrenches the lever back almost immediately and Genzo is yanked back out. Damn! Every inch of his exposed skin is turned pink. Steam is rolling off his body. Orlam, he starts, his voice low and phlegmy, and filled with strange, deep-seated helplessness. I've never heard from him before. This little piggy stayed home. Orlam jerks down the lever again. Gets him sent flying back into the roiling water. When he's pulled back up, his body sags in enervation. I can hear him struggling to breathe, throat gasping, chest rasping. His skin is turned a brilliant shade of red. I need to do something. Anything. He's going to die. My head twists from side to side, looking for something, looking for anything, taking in our surroundings. But there's nothing. It's just a cauldron after cauldron after cauldron. We all know Orlam is in the battalion of rabbit guards. Fuck. This little piggy never goes to sleep. I hear Orlam squeal as then the telltale sound of the lever, followed by the giant splash. I don't even look this time. I don't even take the time to look. I have to figure something out. That's when I see it. The cauldrons! Either because it was a rush job or Orlam and his men had no idea what they were doing, they're actually pretty precariously structured. They're held up above their roaring fires by nothing but 4 wooden planks, one on each side without any sort of additional support. If even one of those planks were taken away... Oh, I see what I'm doing. I don't have time to wonder if it'll work or not. I start swinging. There's a cauldron not far to my left. With a little bit of momentum, I may be able to reach the closest plank. I hear Genzo pulled out of the water. Gas and sputters. Screaming sounds like it's being wrenched across sandpaper, like nails on chalkboard. Further, excuse me. I build up momentum. Swinging. This little piggy had none. Another splash. Orlam and the rabbits are so focused on Genzo they don't even notice my antics. Closer and closer. I reach out. My foot is the next swing over. I touch the plank. I can reach it. I just need more power. One more swing. 2 more swings. I'm going pretty fast now. It might be enough. I hear Orlam shriek again, and piercing laughter sending my heart into overdrive. This little thing went wee all the way home. I fly forwards and kick with every ounce of strength I can possibly muster. My foot connects. There's a sharp snap as the plank goes spinning away from the cauldron. Everything suddenly goes very fast after this. There's a heavy growth to the cauldron as it tips forward. And snap, the additional weight breaks the other plank. The cauldron falls into the fire with a thundering crash and rolls forward, spilling out gallons and gallons of boiling, frothing muck across the floor towards the group. Orlam screeches and jumps backwards at the approaching wave. His rabbit guard follows suit, leaping back in fear. What are you doing, you idiots? Orlam yells. You're wearing armor! Go stop him! Clean that up! But sir, the rabbit confirmed with clutches spear. Iron is a highly effective conductor of heat. Walking in that boiling water will cook our feet in miniature kilns. Orlam chuckles at his hair of disbelief. You useless lagomorphs! I don't waste a second. I begin bouncing and kicking as hard as I possibly can, pulling and yanking and stretching the rope until with one forceful jerk it snaps. Oh. It snaps, and I go tumbling to the floor. I land with a splat in the hot water to give out a broken yelp. My arms and cheeks burn with it, so hot it makes my eyes water. But I can't let it stop me. I roll towards a piece of wood, scattered from the fire, still burning and smoking, slam my back straight into a particularly glowing remnant. Burn, goddammit. I can smell the coils of rope singeing, feels the heat is transferring through it and into my skin. I press down hard enough to begin wriggling, all my arms and snap the sharp bits of rope the moment they become weak enough to break. It doesn't take long. With a jagged rip, the fibers of outer rope loosen and become apart, which is enough for me to snake my arms out of the binding and frantically pull the rest off. Then I'm to my feet, taking only half a second to discern the situation before turning towards the next closest point and kicking the plank pointed towards Orlam and the rabbits. It goes down like a heaving quake, sending another wave of freshly boiled slop towards their captors. Orlam screams and stomps his feet, the rabbits back up each other. I topple one more cauldron and race back towards the cauldron beneath Genzo and send it spilling too. I can feel my feet burning in my soaking socks and shoes. I pay them no mind. My adrenaline seems to be masking the pain, at least for the time being. I take advantage of this fact and kick the remaining fire beneath where Genzo's cauldron had sat, scattering the boards and stamping out the flames. When I reach up and jump and grab Genzo's shoulders, I let my full weight tug down on the rope and it separates with a snap. I fall to the floor with a giant smack. My head rings, but I push it through, already tugging at the ropes cinched around Genzo's arms. Damn. Genzo, buddy, you gotta wake up. Wake up! I yank away the ropes and slap on his cheeks. He's out cold. His skin is deep red, and thick leather splotches decorate his skin, chin, and forehead. I feel myself sweating, just the steam spilling up and away from his body. Wake up! I can't carry you! Tears of frustration prick at my eyes. Finally, he lets out a cough. When he cracks open his eyelids, his eyes have gone white. Iggs, he croaked. I can barely hear him. Do me a favor. I lean closer. What is it? Another cough. Could you poke me with a toothpick? Because I think I'm done. You fucker. I pull him up to a seat. He wobbles for a moment, but ultimately seems able to hold himself. You've got to try to walk for me, okay? It's the only way out of here. I'm not leaving you the fuck behind. I stand up and grab his hand and pull him up beside me. He leans heavily against me. That's it, come on. I loop an arm around his back, begin to move, sloshing through the layer of water on the floor. He manages to move his feet fast enough to keep up, but doesn't seem to be able to do much else. He's got about half his weight on my shoulders. Stop him! Orlam screech interrupts my thoughts. Shit. My heart nearly leaps out of my chest. I'm gonna have to buy us more time. I start for the stairs as fast as I can, making a beeline towards each cauldron along the way. 1, 2, 3, we go down, sending more and more boiling water into the floor. I can't feel my feet anymore. My legs are screaming, my heart is pounding. We've only got a few minutes at most. I can hear Orlam screeching and yammering and batting the rabbits with the handle of the spear, but the rabbits themselves still refuse to go into the steaming water. Iggy fucking Maxwell! I hear as I start up the stairs, but I don't have time to look, to check, to see if he's following me yet. Up, I tug Genzo up the steps. I don't think I've ever held someone so tight in my life. My body screams at every step, and my ears are straining for any hint of those iron boots racing up the stairs after us. I finally tug Genzo out of the landing. And just before we can escape the tunnel, I catch a glimpse of rabbits splashing through the water down below. Fuck. I throw myself into the tunnel, begging Genzo to move faster. Come on! I can feel tears of frustration building up in my eyes. The tunnel ends and we fly out into the stairway, into the main hall. I gasp for breath at this point. I hoist Genzo back up on my shoulders. When I feel him starting to slip, I search for a door to sweat leaking down my eyes. Come on, Genzo, come on, stay with me, buddy. I tug towards the entrance, slam my hips against the door. I open it it opens with a heavy creak, just enough for me to slip the two of us outside, out into the garden. Then I'm racing down a path, heart pounding in my ears, puffing, groaning in terrified exasperation. Past the moat, past the empty guardhouse. I could see the little town up ahead through the pink glimmer of sun on the horizon. No good. We've got to go a different way. That'll be the first place I go. So I tugged Genzo off the path and away from the town, away from the castle. Through the grass and towards the trees. My lungs are burning, my legs feel like jelly. But I push on. I have to push on. Genzo's slipping again. His feet aren't keeping me up as well as before. I have to keep pulling, keep tugging. I spy a creek up ahead, quiet, tranquil. And next to a large outcropping of boulders. I grit my teeth and power through the last stretch, not stopping until we've made it out of sight behind the rocks. My knees give out the moment I stop moving. I sink to the ground, taking Genzo with me. Fuck, I can barely breathe. I lay there for a moment, eyes closed, then check on Genzo, rolling him over on his back. His breath is strained and raspy, almost as though he's trying to breathe through a straw. His eyes are just barely cracked open. Genzo? I wipe at the sweat of my forehead, cheeks, and neck. My heart is beating at my ears. Genzo coughs. His face looks so awful. So I can barely hear. I can hardly bear the look. You look bastard. He finally ekes out. Should have figured he had one last way to fuck me over. He pulls his lips up into a little half smile. Here, I was hoping I could get a good look at you one last time. Bite down my lips, staring at his clouded eyes. They're gazing vacantly up at the sky. Here, come on. Damn. I pull his head into my lap. Because I don't know what else to do. Oh damn. This is nice. Best pillow a guy could ask for. I slide his hat off his head. Immediately, it leaves miniature blistered divots across his forehead. I wince as I try to smooth down his hair. A twinge of guilt in my diaphragm's back, curling and twisting and eating its way at my insides. I blink, and the Genzo in front of me is suddenly much younger. Even as hard as I've tried to block it in my mind, the memory still feels fresh. Almost like it happened yesterday. Thunder rattles in the window pane next to the bed, shaking the house, shaking up through my gut, my ribs, my heart. I clench the blanket to my chin, breath fast and hot. You scared, Iggs? Genzo's next to me. Genzo was always sleeping over at my house. We'd play video games, gorge on snacks and pizza, stay up until past midnight just talking and talking. Even all the way up until junior high. I could always act like a kid with him. I don't respond. Instead, I just chew on the edge of my blanket, staring up at the ceiling. It's louder this time, lighting flashing across the window and lighting up the whole room. I tense, unwittingly, giving off a little moan as I try to shrink deeper into the bed sheets. Don't worry, I gotcha. Come on. Just come into the safe warm bosom of my arms. I'm not sure what he knows what the word bosom actually means, but I'm not in the mood to chastise him for it. Oh, bros. I let him curl around me in the heat of the moment, even snuggle up just a bit against his chest. Too scared to worry about how it looks. Not a broom. But this one doesn't make my heart jump quite as much. I take a deep breath and close my eyes, willing myself to sleep. That's when I feel it. A poke against my stomach. I feel Genzo freeze against me. He sucks in his breath. What do I do? Pretend I don't feel anything? Pull away? But then he'd know that I know. I know. But he already knows that I know. There's no way I couldn't feel that. I'm starting to sweat now. I'm feeling weird, uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain it. Cold? A cold chill working its way through my spine and across my arms and legs. I'm shaking, I can't stop. Genzo, I heard something out in the hallway. The hallway? Genzo's voice squeaks. Yeah, could you go check? Sure, of course, yeah. He pulls away, sits up, and I see him take a moment to collect himself, just sitting there on the side of the bed. Finally, he stands up. I'm gonna go check for you. Thanks. It's no shaking, but the feeling is starting to leave. The tightness in my chest is loosening. Genzo's darkened form walks towards the other side of the room. I hear the click of the door opening. He steps out to the hall. He's gone a long time. Another window rattling thunderclap sends me back beneath the covers. Then I hear it. I look up from outside, followed by a yelp and a series of sharp cracks in the stairs. Genzo? I'm out of bed in an instant, dashing towards the door, my thin pajamas fluttering. I grope for a light in the hall. When I turn it on, I see Genzo lying at the bottom of the stairs, unmoving. Genzo! No. Each note falls in time with my footsteps racing down the stairs. And when I stumble down next to him, he's already out cold, blood leaking out of his ears, his nose, dribbling from his mouth. He spent a week in the hospital after that. They said he'd be fine. Just fine. Perfectly fine. A month later, his sight had begun to go. Whoops. We should have caught that. Tears prick in my eyes as I look down at Genzo now. How had everything come to this? I wipe at the snot leaking down my nose. I let a quivering breath. I need to do something. Find a way to help him. But how? And from where? It's not like I can walk anymore. Then do I leave him behind? Maybe I could follow the creek. Surely it should lead somewhere. Another town over, maybe somewhere further from Orlam and his guards. I scoot Genzo's head gently off my legs and down to his hat and give him some cushion. Then rise to my knees. I'm gonna find someone, okay? Okay. I'll bring someone back who can help you. We need to get you to go see a doctor. Okay. I'm just gonna follow this creek. There's gotta be some place along it. Even a little village or something. Okay. I chomped down on the inside of my cheek. Genzo's just lying there, not even trying to look in my general direction. Well, what are you waiting for? Get going. Yeah. I reach for his hand, clasping it in my own, giving it a squeeze. I'll be back. Okay. Then I take off, staggering alongside the creek and further down into the trees. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna leave this episode here. My god, that was intense. Oh, Jesus. Orlam's gone crazy. My god. Like, dude, Gidget's dead. Orlam's crazy. I don't even want to know what happened to Bucks. And Genzo is in a very terrible state. Oh, I'm actually pretty hyped for what's gonna happen next. I really hope we can help Genzo at some point. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a